What's up, guys? It's Talon. So today we're going to be talking about how to have impact from top lane, even when your scoreline is not really insane. And so starting off with draft here, the reason that I go for Warwick is one, because Warwick is my main top laner, but two, once I realized that my jungler is picking AD, I know that we're going to have a good mix of damage with some AP and some AD, so I know it's fine to pick him. If he picked an AP jungler, I was going to go with something like Wukong. Malphite, not very good in the AP champions. Warwick does a lot of magic damage. Warwick is very good at avoiding ganks. Vi is very good at ganking, so I can very easily avoid these ganks, as we're going to kind of see early on. And then I can bully Malphite really hard and kind of get that early pressure. So for that reason, I picked the Warwick here. We're going to skip into the game now. I'm just going right into it. And so here, I'm really going to focus with you guys on the early lane to start, but then on how to just draw a lot of pressure throughout the game, even if your scoreline's not really insane. And kind of showing you guys like how top lane specifically is a role really designed around having a lot of pressure. So this game, I don't immediately go for armor boots, just because Malphite does mix damage and a lot of magic damage, and he's not really scary in terms of damage, so I'm more worried about getting as much damage as I can onto him. You're going to see right away I go for an early ward because I know that I have this prio. Vi tries to flash onto me. I'm perfectly happy with her flashing onto me, because I can just hard trade with this Malphite, and he's still going to lose the trades to me even if I'm half health, because my champion just gets stronger on low health anyways, just due to how my passive works. And so I'm perfectly happy with trading to the death early game, because I'm going to have way more sustain than Malphite. It doesn't matter. I'm going to trade around my grasp, trade around my Q healing, and he's half health and I'm half health, and I got the enemy jungle flash. I don't really care that I flash. Like, at the end of the day, losing my flash doesn't do much. I'm just sitting here constantly poking him. Every time he walks up for a last hit, I Q him, and then I just slowly push. I'm not in any way hitting these minions until they get 1 HP, and then once they're 1 HP, I use my first ability to heal off of the minions and reset my cooldown of my Q by half. Just constantly, again, building up this giant wave. He walks up, immediately just Q, auto, anytime he walks up. That's simple. Get my second ability passive on him as early as possible by getting him low health. You can see I'm perfectly fine with even taking a turret shot if I were to take a turret shot there. I'm just poking him under his turret. And I also know their jungler shouldn't be pathing towards me, but instead their jungle does path towards me because he's an idiot who's giving up a bunch of his free farm on the other side of the map. And so then I'm understanding my limits here. And so this is what I really want you guys to understand, is the early game limits. Watch this play. There's a full health Vi, nearly full health Vi. There's a half health Malphite, even level Vi with me. I'm ignited, and I have a red buff on, like Vi has a red buff on me. And look at the trades. Just look at this. Just continue to trade with her, kite her back near my turret, bait her in, and then once my first ability or my third ability is nearly up again, I know I can just kill the Vi. I end up trading 1-for-1 with the Vi. I would have killed them both, by the way, if Akshan didn't rotate, but their mid laner rotates as well. And so we have so much pressure. We blew the Vi flash level 1. We made Vi gank us again instead of going for her blue side, so my jungler gets complete control over the bottom side of the map to have a bunch of free pressure. I'm able to get their Malphite put down in gold. He's still down to me in gold, even after me getting ganked by all that. All of this pressure in the early game, because that's really what Warwick and a lot of early game top laners are about, is that early pressure. And then I want to also talk about this really quick. If the enemy's ever recalling and grab Scorpion, kill Scorpion right away, and then it will kill the minion. It won't quite kill your minions, but it'll get your minions low health, and then they'll lose minions. So notice how I'm fearing the Scorpion off, and I'm just instantly killing Scorpion. This way, he's going to lose these minions because the Scorpion's not going to get the minion gold from him or for him. And then I have a huge wave here that I can really slowly build up. And so I want to show you guys this wave management trick as well. I've made videos on it before. When you have a really big wave under your turret like this, and then your wave is coming right here, as you can see now, I would only last hit again, same way as before. Let this wave stay under your turret, and then just slowly build it up, and you're going to watch me build up an absolutely giant wave here in order to then eventually either dive him or crash it and recall or do really whatever we want. So again, that's pretty much what we're doing here. We have 5 minions. We're trying to not let them go under our turret too quick. Eventually, they're naturally going to crash. But again, all I'm waiting for is that next wave. And you can see that next wave is coming as well. And we still have these 2 minions under, near our turret. And so I'm very slowly building up a wave. And then you can see eventually now the wave is 6-4 in terms of minions. I'm only last hitting again. And then now I'm going to start trading with the Malphite whenever he walks up, and waiting for this next wave. And so now you can see I'm waiting for the wave after this wave to come, right? So there's a wave that's about to come. That's going to give me even more minions, and I'll have like 8 or 9 minions at this point, all built up. So the enemy is going to be lower level than me. They're not going to be able to trade into me because the minions will hurt them. I'm not gankable because the minions will help me outplay the gank. And I can literally go and poke him under turret because my champion has absurd healing to the point that I don't care. So I'm just trading with him super hard, trying to get him half health so that my W passive procs on him. I have like 1.5 million minions. And yeah, he pretty much just can't do anything. I can even get Scorpion at some point if I want. Obviously, because he's Malphite, he's full health, and we got pressured, you know, early. I'm not having as big of a lead as I could, but this still allows me to get great pressure. And again, let's say that in a lot of situations, my jungler wanted to gank there, or the enemy wasn't a Malphite and they were a squishier champion, you would be able to get a bigger lead from that. Instead, all I get from that is pressure so that I can have the lane prio, so I could rotate if I need, and so that I can recall before the enemy top laner. But again, in a lot of cases, that creates a dive angle for you where you crash a huge wave under their turret, the enemy die, they lose the entire wave, and their game is completely over. But you can see how even when I don't get an insane benefit from it, I have that constant pressure. Malphite has nothing to do but sit under his tower the whole game. I have the ability to rotate at any point if I want to. I'm not really gankable, as we kind of talked about. And again, I get a level advantage so I can trade with him. I force out his ultimate and his ignite, and I knew I was never going to actually die here with my third ability and my healing. So I blow Malphite ultimate and Malphite ignite right before the objective. Meanwhile, I have everything. And so now I can crash the wave, I can recall for my item, and I'm extremely strong when it comes to rotating. And so because of the fact that Malphite's really weak, I want to go wherever my jungle is going to go. I was going to go Dragon if my jungler went there, because Malphite does not push turrets quickly. And so I'm perfectly happy with just getting pressure and then rotating and helping my team. Because again, Malphite not pushing turrets quickly, so I don't really care if he's on the turret. I noticed that we're trading objectives here, and so I immediately go for mid wave to get mid prio for my team, because I don't need to help them on the objective because nobody's contesting us. And so again, you just see I'm constantly focused on having those waves in pushing states, being in a position to help rotate with my jungler, drawing the enemy jungler's pressure, making sure the enemy wastes their cooldowns on key timers. So again, trying to force Malphite ult out, you know, again, 30 seconds beforehand so that he's not very useful. And then I rotate back towards my lane once I draw Malphite here. Now, why did it make sense to rotate here and not go and help my team at this point? Because there was a big wave stacking up. My team is behind, and so fights are probably not going to go too well. The objectives were already taken, so there wasn't anything to stay around for. There weren't any objectives or any key things to stay around for. So I'd rather draw pressure around the map, get myself stronger, and then again, just be in a position to basically have this giant wave, get a bunch of damage onto their turret. And yes, maybe the enemy will get some amount of value, but Malphite, you can see, was forced to come back here, and I took his turret from 2,500 health or whatever to 700 health. Multiple turret plates on me, gold lead, drawing Malphite back to me, basically having complete pressure over the entire game. Now here, even though Malphite does a lot of magic damage, I'm going to go for armor boots because I'm not worried about Malphite. What I'm worried about is Akshan plus Vi plus Kai'Sa, who does mix damage, but Akshan and Vi do you know, AD, and so I'm more worried about itemizing against those champions. And then again here, because of the fact that I made Malphite get pushed under his tower, I had the wave pushed first, I have the ability to rotate towards mid lane here, which means I have the possibility of getting a kill. Now, I don't get anything in this case, but I'm always the first one to rotate. I'm first to rotate to Dragon. I'm first to get mid prio. I'm first to push the top wave. I'm the one drawing the enemy jungle pressure. I'm doing so much, and I'm 1-1 in this game, and the game is, you know, 4-9 as a scoreline. But despite that scoreline, the gold's actually relatively close. I forget the exact, you know, gold here. 26.4 to 26.6. So we're basically, you know, exactly even gold, and that is largely due to the top lane difference. I believe I'm up over 1k gold at this point. Again, I'm kind of showing the scoreboard really quickly, but I have a large gold lead. Again, I drew the enemy jungle pressure, so that gives my jungler an easier time of getting a lead as well. Yeah, I'm up 1200 gold right now. And again, I just constantly have these waves stacking. I go back to the waves, I push the waves, I make sure to build up big waves so the enemy are in a hard spot. Then when they're stuck clearing all those waves, I have the ability to rotate if I need to. Or, you know, if the lane, it doesn't look like I can rotate for a fight, then instead I'll just do something like this where I just pressure the turret again. I pressure Malphite and basically just kind of screw him over. So again, we just get really hard trades with Malphite, force out his flash, so force out his cooldowns, get these turrets for my team, have the constant pressure. You can just see all that we're able to do, and this is largely due to the fact that we're an early game champion. So Warwick's really good at this. Wukong is very solid at this. Jace is solid at it. Renekton. Most of my champion pool, as you can see, I love this type of playstyle in top lane, which is why I'll usually veer towards champions that can do this. And again, it's just how we're able to draw pressure. It's why my win rate is so high on Warwick, why we've been ranked 1 on him. That's why I've been ranked 1 on Jace as well. I mean, it's just a lot of champ. I've ranked 2 Renekton as well. Just decided to flex on you guys randomly because, you know, why not? And by flex, I mean show you guys that I have no life and play Wild Rift all day. But either way, we're even able to take jungle camps after getting all that pressure. So you can see not only do we impact the enemy Baron laner, but then we also pressure the jungler so that we can take his camps. Now in this case, their jungler shows up, but he can't really do anything to me. I'm way too tanky. My team's in a position. I'm just baiting here at this point. Like, I'm completely aware of the fact that my team is in a position to just, you know, get value out of this. And even if I do end up dying in a situation like that, that's a shutdown for my team onto the Vi. That's a bunch of cooldowns wasted from the enemy. And I believe this fight doesn't actually end up going well. But all of the pressure that we're able to draw is extremely important in a situation like that. And again, didn't work out perfectly. Could have maybe gotten out of that situation, but even then, you know, the pressure we're drawing, the fact that we allow our teammates to be able to rotate first because they have the vision given from me, and then the fact that my Victor's able to go on the opposite side of the map because, again, we're drawing so much pressure there, take out a turret. Not an optimal play here in terms of the result, but in terms of what we're doing to achieve this, like, usually that's how you kind of want to be playing the game as a Warwick. Your goal is not to have a major gold lead by, like, 15-20 minutes in the game as Warwick. Your goal is to have a major gold lead in the first 5 to 10 minutes and then spread that throughout the map. Again, through these things that we're talking about with the wave control, with the rotations after the enemy top laner stuck, that type of thing. Now, in this case, we don't contest Dragon because we're kind of just behind, and so we'd rather just farm up as a team. And luckily, my jungler realizes that, and my team realizes that, and so it just allows us to, you know, make sure that we wait till we kind of actually hit our power spikes, rather than kind of forcing, you know, any fights that aren't necessary. And then at this point in the game, we shift towards the Dragon side of the map. The reason we shift towards Dragon side is because the Baron is the next key objective spawning, and I want to be on the opposite side of the objective in order to draw additional pressure, as we've been speaking about all game. And so to do that, I need to be on the opposite side of the objective, push that out, and then I can rotate and help my team out afterwards. So we do that. We obviously recall because we have an item here. I don't go for Wit's End because I don't need magic resist too much. In this game, I go for Terminus, and then I think I go for Riftmaker. And then defensive items after that, Twin Guard, Spear Visage type of thing. And then here we're just trying to pressure the Akshan, but I ended up standing outside of a bush because I'm kind of a silly goose. But then it turns out my champion's broken and I can go and one-shot him because my champion does that. And so even though I end up dying here, we get the shutdown into Akshan. And so again, just overall pretty good pressure from that. Okay, my bad. I got a call there, but basically going back into what we were saying, we're able to again draw that pressure on the lane. We end up killing the Akshan. And one-shotting him, so obviously my champion, you know, I get a lot more gold than he does because he had a big shutdown. And then my team's also able to just get top lane pushing there, whereas the entire enemy were kind of all in that side of the map fighting us. And so again, we're only down like 1.5k gold, even though we're down 9 kills as a team. And a lot of that, once again, is due to us drawing that pressure, which allows then, even for example, Jhin to be on this turret, getting that, you know, lane push, getting that gold from the turret, that type of thing. And so you can just kind of constantly see how we're making a big impact despite scoreline. Like, again, our team is not doing well in terms of scoreline. We're only 2-3-1, but the gold is pretty fine, and a lot of it's just due to keeping those lanes pushed and then making a lot of those plays after the lane being pushed. And then again, target priority, we're going to go on to a lot of times the people with shutdowns or the people who are squishy. In this case, I believe we target Akshan because he is, you know, kind of the main carry. And so I'm just kind of pressuring them off again. So their Vi gets very split up from their team, and that's because we ulted the Akshan so he can't really walk up with the rest of the team. And then now we're just putting our body in between, you know, their carries again and the enemy so that they can't really walk forward. At this point, again, we're just making sure the enemy carries can't go too far forward because they did get a decent Malphite ult onto our team, and so we're just pretty much hovering here like permanently. As you can kind of see, basically just zoning, nothing really special, but this is again just how you get a lot of pressure as a Baron laner, as especially an early game champion once you're not as strong in like the mid or late game, just by constantly hovering these bushes, making sure now at this point that the Baron has spawned, that after you push out the side wave, you're there hovering so that your teammates don't randomly lose Baron or something like that. If I was a champion like Fiora, Jax, or Camille, I might still be on that bottom lane right now, split pushing in order to like try to actually take their turret. But because I'm a Warwick, my job is more get that pressure and then CC an enemy carry or something like that. And so even here, you can see how much pressure I can draw just from my third ability plus my, you know, all of my gargoyle, everything like that, so that it takes multiple people to kill me on the enemy, and I have a lot of ways to actually like escape. And again, I can heal up so quickly as well that now even when we see the enemy going for this Baron, for example, I'm still tanky enough to draw that pressure, continue to zone, and help my team get vision of it so that we can set up to potentially, you know, get a decent play. I'm trying to make sure I time my third ability to get me that tankiness when I really am needing it. And then because of that, we're able to, you know, actually get a lot of value off of this fight, because the enemy kind of overforced. We go and heal quickly off the mid wave, and then our jungler gets a nice, you know, double kill there. And we pretty much turn the game around here. So again, it's just a lot of that constant pressure on the side lane, pushing out those side lane waves, so the Malphite's just getting a lot less value. Whereas a lot of people, they're kind of over-focused on solo killing their opponent, getting that constant gold lead, split pushing 24/7. But it's really just about the waves. You push out a wave, then you look to make some type of play. If there's no play to make, you can maybe make a play further in your lane, as you saw us doing early game sometimes with the, you know, pushing of the waves. And stacking the waves, and then, like, you know, looking for a dive on the enemy. Again, making sure you draw out those key cooldowns before these really important fights. Like, again, when I drew out that Malphite ult early on in the game before the dragon, like, that makes him a lot less useful in these key fights, and then just constantly going for that. And then target priority, again, targeting, for example, the Akshan here because he was really fed, or, you know, if the Vi is pretty low and she's going on my team, using my presence just to peel, just by CCing the enemy or anything like that. And then even here, I didn't want to fight right away because my team did not yet recall. And so I'd rather recall, spend my gold, and then go to the fight afterwards. Unfortunately, I missed my ult because I kind of suck. But I can still draw a bunch of pressure because my champion's really, really tanky. And we put our jungler in a good position to just kind of finish it off. And then we're just able to pretty much end the game through this. So just thought I'd show you guys kind of how to play these early game junglers, or these early game top laners rather. How to draw a lot of pressure in the side lane and kind of have a very big impact despite not having like an insane scoreline in a lot of games. So I hope this was useful to you guys. As you can see, we're obviously going to end the game here. And yeah, continuing with the push, I mean, these videos are a bit out of order because I'm recording a lot of videos because I'm going to Europe in about 3 weeks. So I don't know when it'll be when you guys see this video, but these videos are a bit out of order. But at the time of this recording, we're about 21 marks, like 60-something% win rate. Solo queue only. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.